Hey kids, you're listening to Nothing in Moderation with Travis and Mike. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on this regularly scheduled dumpster fire.
You can catch us on all the social medias under @NothingInModPod. So let's go ahead and get this hillbilly hog fight underway.
Honey.
What?
There ain't no laws!
That was fucking loud. Like, it was loud enough that the earpiece spiked my mic.
Nice. That was White Claw. So shit's about to get weird.
All right. So welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Nothing in Moderation with Mike himself and Trizaz.
That's me. I don't think that's going to be my name, though. I don't think that's going to work.
No, I like Travis. I like Travis D.
Travis D.
Or Travis D. Travis D. That's what I would call you.
All right.
If you had like a show nickname, it would be Travis D.
That works for me. It's Mike himself and Travis D.
Yeah. Mike himself. Oh man, we're almost like we just need one more person and we could be like the Beastie Boys.
We need a we need
an ad rock.
I don't know.
We'll have to figure that out.
If anybody's looking to be our ad rock.
Is he the one that died?
What?
Is Ad Rock the one that died, or was it? Which one died?
I feel like an asshole because I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan and I don't know the answer to that. But you know who would know that?
Beastie Boy died.
Is the Louie.
Google?
The Lulu.
Adam Yauch.
So that's Ad Rock.
Yauch. 1/3 Ad Rock. Well, then we don't need an Ad Rock. He did.
Oh,
that's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm fine. I apologize.
I can't believe you're encroaching on my trash or treasure.
Yeah, my bad.
You're not. It's cool. But
I didn't figure I was.
Speaking of the Mike himself name, I got on Twitter today and was looking at some of the wild shit going on. And with the GOYA beans, there's the picture of the first daughter-in-law or whatever her official title is, and first daughter of the United States. So F. Dotus.
I guess. Doesn't mean nobody cares.
So there was the GOYA CEO or president or some bullshit had some praise for Trump, and then obviously there was some outrage from the other side of the fence. And in a response to the outrage and the request to boycott, Ivanka goes and has a picture taken about and says that she loves, beans or loves GOYA or whatever it is, which is a clear violation of the Hatch Act, but whatever. We don't enforce laws anymore.
Listen.
So
fucking
dude, she got skewered on Twitter. I mean, it was funny. And on Reddit, there's the Photoshop battles where everyone's like, all right, let's take this picture of her and do something with it. And I think you sent me one with a Four Loko can.
Yeah, it was they replaced the bean can with a Four Loko can. I'm hoping, I need to jump on Reddit too, because there was a picture that got posted just a little bit ago of Trump at his desk with like a whole barrage of GOYA products in front of him.
That was real?
So I'm hoping they jump on that one too. I thought so.
Holy fuck. All right, well, I mean, anyway. So
yeah.
I think it was Dan Rather posted a caption contest. So if anyone wants to go and find what Nothing in Moderation tweeted as part of the caption contest, or what we tweeted in reference to Ivanka, I actually hopped on the Twitter space and invited Ivanka onto the show since she's such a fan of beans, and let her know that she could challenge Mike himself to a fart off, and the winner gets to keep the crown.
She's not going to win.
I don't think so, unless...
no, she's not going to win.
Remember, the rules for the fart off are you automatically are DQ'd if you shit yourself.
Yeah, I'm not concerned with shitting myself. So.
I mean, it would be entertaining if she did.
That's probably going to happen anyway. Yeah, I do believe that picture is real. Because there's a whole new PS battle thread for it.
Jesus. I don't understand why.
And if there's
why can an elected official endorse a company?
I don't know, man. You know what's weird to me is I've seen some people that I put one of the funny ones in the group chat just a second ago. The thing I've seen the most from people is they're like, people boycotting. Maybe I can't wait until the things flip around and they get things taken away from them. And I'm like, I don't understand the big deal. Like, as you can choose to support GOYA, you can also choose to not support GOYA. Shut that goddamn cat up. And I think that's the beauty of like the whole free speech thing is you can choose which we want. Like, I don't care either way, honestly. Like I'm not surprised that somebody who Trump actually let come to the White House was supportive of him. Like, no matter who they work for. But I'm not going to act like I was the biggest buyer of GOYA products before this anyway, so I'm not going to rush out and buy them and or stop buying them. I'm going to continue doing what I was doing. But like, it's perfectly okay if you want to stop buying them altogether, or if you want to start buying them. Like it's just like I don't understand people like, oh, people can't have differing opinions nowadays. Bruh. What?
Well, with boycotts though, at least it seems historically the people that are boycotting something, at least in their current timeline, are not even the ones who would typically be consumers of it anyway. And I'm sure you remember all of the I don't know, 50-something outraged white men who were so bent out of shape about Nike supporting Colin Kaepernick's kneeling situation. They're like, I'll never buy Nikes again. It's like, you've probably never bought a pair of Nikes anyway. You're not affecting their business.
Every last one of them had the $60 Air Dad 9000s that they mowed their yard in.
Oh, the New Balances?
Yeah. Well, no. The white, they're like Air Monarchs or whatever. They're the white dad. They look like the white New Balances, but they're Nikes.
Oh, gotcha. I'm not up on the shoes.
I will say though that I worked with a lady at the time that all that was going on, who came into work wearing a pair of Converse, and was bitching about the whole Nike thing to one of her customers or whatever. Like, it was a coworker, but it was whatever.
Right.
She was bitching to a coworker about the whole Nike thing. And like I looked over at her in front of this person while she was bitching, and I was like, "You do realize that Nike owns Converse, right?"
I was going to ask you that.
What? No, they don't. Yeah, no. Nike bought Converse. I don't remember how many years ago, but I know Nike bought Converse several years ago. She was like, "Oh, I've had these forever. It doesn't matter." I'm like, "Oh, here we go with your excuses."
I was outraged until my outrage was hypocritical, and then I'm not outraged.
Pretty much, yeah.
But that comes back to the same concept as, who cares if the information that came out is actually damning and is actually accurate and is actually wrong to have happened? You shouldn't have leaked it.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to focus on. Nobody worry about, the fact that we're letting our fucking soldiers get blown up and killed with Russian bounties and the president's aware of it and all that other bullshit. What we need to focus on is why anybody else outside the intel community knows that he didn't do anything about it.
That he did this. Yeah. Fuck. God, it makes me so mad. It just like, but along those same lines, like and we can come back or go forward or whatever. But like, so I got banned from Facebook again for 7 days this past week. I'm in a group for guys that have trucks in a similar year range of the one I currently own, and because it's a pick 'em up truck and it's an American pick 'em up truck, most of the guys in the group are yee get her done boys. And like, I'm okay. Like, for the most part, it is what it is. Like, every third day you'll get some guy who fucking zip tied a American flag to a pole in the bed of his truck that drapes all over the side and thinks he's cool shit. But this guy posted some shit. It was a meme about, and it was like a guy that appears like he was hunting, getting arrested by a game warden. And it says, "If you think white folks don't get targeted, you don't know our local game warden." To which I responded with, with all the mouth-breathing white trash in this group, I figured I'd have seen some dumb shit like this a couple weeks ago.
Jeez.
And literally within 15 seconds, I was banned from Facebook for seven more days.
How did the group get bent out of shape enough that you got banned? Like,
it wasn't the group. It was the automatic algorithm. Facebook is banned. They'll ban you for saying white trash. It is what it is. This is like the third time I've been banned for saying white trash or stupid white people or,
That's so weird to me because
something along those lines in the last 6 months.
Well, and I know we talked about this when you got banned last time, but I thought Facebook gave the option of, we have deemed this hate speech. Do you want to contest it? And when you say yes, you have to explain why. And one of the options is, I am this people. So it's like, I should be able to say white trash.
I will tell you that at your third banning for the same offense within 6 months, apparently, you don't get the option to appeal it. It's here's 7 days.
Man, oh man.
It'd be like that sometimes. I'm not super worried about it. I actually deleted the Facebook app, and I've spent a lot more time on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, because I really enjoy TikTok a lot more.
Chinese
than
spyware.
I did initially. The more I use TikTok, the more I really grow to like it. Because their For You page or their Discover page, like you would have on Instagram, it's really good. Like their algorithm is really good at showing you shit that you want to see. Like it's, like you're not, like on Instagram, I'm going to scroll through. If you go to the Discover page, you're probably going to scroll through fucking 90% of it without even looking at it because it's shit that's not going to grab your attention or interest you. And fucking TikTok's got that shit figured out. Like it may be Chinese spyware, but they've got that shit figured right the fuck out.
The old lady was telling me that there's a girl in her Girls Love Travel group or something like that she was a Marine and got out of the Marine Corps and started a TikTok, or no, she had a TikTok that she just, dicked off on. Well, then she started a, what's the thing that all the girls are making now that everybody's out of work? The OnlyFans?
Oh, OnlyFans. Yeah, OnlyFans.
So she started an OnlyFans, and within like 2 months, she's top 5% in OnlyFans, and she's made like almost $200,000. And she talks about it in TikTok, like where one of her TikTok videos is her proposing to her husband for her to open an OnlyFans and him to be her photographer.
Mm-hmm. Nice. There's a rapper. His name's Jelly Roll. He's from like Memphis, or he's from Tennessee. I think he's from Nashville, more than Memphis.
Big heavyset white guy, lots of tattoos.
Yeah. Yep. His girlfriend or wife, his wife, they're married. It's like Bunny is her like nickname or whatever. I don't know what her real name is, but she has an OnlyFans, and there was a fucking article and she's like blonde, just your typical like blonde, which you would look at her and be like, yeah, she's probably a stripper. Okay. And if that sounds fucked up, I'm sorry, but
well, I mean, we're talking about a website that's dedicated to essentially being a stripper.
Yeah, absolutely, to sex workers in general. But she posted some article that they wrote about her from one of a British newspaper that she made fucking like $100,000 the first month she was on TikTok, and is consistently making over $100,000 a month on OnlyFans. I
mean, that's a lot of money.
I follow one girl, and I followed her for something political that she had posted, but apparently she also has an OnlyFans, and her story, and I don't know how true it is because I didn't look any further than her TikTok, but like growing up she was super poor, lived in a trailer, like was constantly made fun of for her lack of funds or whatever, and like she's said multiple times like she remembers nights where they didn't have dinner because they didn't have any food, and she's fucking like top 1% on OnlyFans and is pulling down six figures just over the last couple of months, and like
that's wild. Like
I mean the shit's wild. Like I would love to start an OnlyFans. I don't know what I would put on it.
Well, you probably wouldn't be successful as one of. I bet if you look at the top 5% earners, there are people who are A, already famous, or B, they're females doing modeling of some sort, whether it's nude or sexually explicit or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I was just doing the math because I'm a math person, and I was sitting out there with the old lady talking about it, and I was like, man, there's this girl from Reddit called Hopeless So Frantic, and she went through a rough breakup and got on Reddit and started interacting with people and posted some nude photos, and surprisingly the Reddit crowd was fairly decent toward her, and she started to establish self-esteem, and dude, in like 6 months she went from this meek person to all of a sudden she's in Playboy, and then after that, now in the last 6 or 8 months, she's been traveling the world doing photo shoots and stuff, and she has, the Patreon and the OnlyFans and all these other subscription services, and some of the tiers of subscription are like $150 a month, and that's just mind-boggling to me, because some people are obviously paying it, but even if you only did $1 a month, and you can reach out to 10,000 people, dude, you're making $10,000 a month out of billions of people in the world.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so I'm looking at Daily Mail to see just to kind of get a rough idea of who the top earners on OnlyFans are, and I'm sure it won't be super accurate. Hang on a second. Keep talking. I'm sorry. This is not providing information like I hoped it would.
Well, of course it wouldn't. You have to make it through the 65 ads and the clickbait and the...
Oh, yeah, and it's fucking Daily Mail, so it's like fucking 37 ads on here.
I remember that was...
It looks like most of the top earners are female porn stars of some
Well,
kind.
that makes sense. And when Ashley told me about, this girl from the travel forum, this retired Marine that was, doing the adult photo shoot type stuff, and I'm like, she is going to show so many people her butthole for money. And I guess,
Yeah, I mean, people will pay for it.
I guess there's a certain amount of jealousy that I have about that topic, because as a guy, I know the earning potential is not the same, but that is what it is. Men are the bigger consumers. But it's
absolutely.
It's one of those things. If you can, like I said, earn $1 from 10,000 people, then you're way ahead of the game type deal. And there's a lot of target audience, regardless of who you are, because, Ashley brought up someone being pregnant or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, well, there's people that are into that too. So they can supplement their income as a shift in audience for the time being and whatnot. But I know it's holier than thou sounding, and maybe it's rooted in jealousy. I made the comment to her that shit's all good and fun. And, if you're making the money, good for you. But the looks wear off, obviously, and hopefully you're far enough ahead and you planned well enough that you don't have to rely on that forever, or the trend wears off in 5 years or whatever. But
what's weird about that point of view to me though is like it doesn't matter. Like it's not like, get your money, just get it. How, you know what I mean? Like I don't like because there's a lot of things right now with OnlyFans. Kicking like sex workers off the platform because they're trying to take it to a more mainstream like audience,
right?
Instead of keeping it with the because the sex workers that are on there, they built and saved OnlyFans from becoming nothing. So so there's no telling how much longer it's going to be before they just stop all nudity and shit like that altogether.
Right.
So I look at it as, get your money while you can.
No. I'm not saying that.
And that's where it stops.
I'm not saying anyone is wrong for doing that. Hey, if you can do it and you're comfortable with it and you don't give a shit if there's any consequences, or if there are consequences, you deal with them, fall out with a family or whatever the fuck it is, and you're cool with it, those are all your personal decisions. Those are all your consequences, good or bad or otherwise. Do whatever you want to do. Obviously, I'm a little jealous. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not the right gender to make a fortune as easily. But where I was going with it is, I'm not someone who's motivated by money. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like making money, but that's not my driving force. I want to be able to know I accomplished something. And obviously, you never know what life's going to include, because if you can amass a small fortune to start with, you can do good. But I wouldn't look back at my 20s of showing my butthole to people and making money and knowing what I would have spent it on and feel like I have accomplished anything personally. And that's just, that personal accomplishment's more my motivating factor. Not that I've accomplished anything personally anyway, but
I was going to say, you haven't accomplished it.
I've got a multi-million-dollar podcast studio and a massive audience, so.
Yeah. All 35 of us.
Combined weight, though.
Yeah. With the combined weight, then I'm sure it's up there.
But no, I mean,
do
what you want as long as you aren't hurting anybody else. I
pretty much.
It wouldn't have flown in my family even if I had the ability to do it. So, I'm coming off of that.
Wouldn't have it probably wouldn't have in mine either. But I also know that, like, it's one of those things like I guess it's just as I watch what goes on around me in the world, I care less and less about what people think necessarily. And I just, it is what it is. Like if you, like, I'm not here to make people feel special or what, you know what I mean? Like I as long as my wife is proud of me, like that's the extent of what I care about at this point.
Right.
And as I get older and older, like I like you, I've never really been motivated by money, but I have friends that, make tons of fucking money, or I don't want to call them friends because they're people that I know that I haven't talked to in years or hung out with in years, but like they make tons of money and like money's all they care about. And like I can watch their social media and know that money's all they give a fuck about. And like I just, like I look at it and I'm like, oh, hey, cool, that's not me anymore. I used to be that way.
Right.
Oh, I want to make enough to pay my bills comfortably and work as little as possible
and be happy with your life,
like,
and with your wife, and that's your driving force, like you said.
I value my time at home more than I ever did. Like that shit's way more important to me. So, like I especially over the last couple of months, like it's really kind of with all the like the coronavirus and shit going on.
Coronavirus.
Like it's really hit home to me that like and I don't know how true this is for other countries, because I've never been to other countries, and I don't know like a ton of people from other countries, but like the coronavirus thing for me has really shown me that like about 90% of the shit that we have is like abundance things that we don't need. Like we don't need 37 bank locations in our city. We don't need a fucking 7-Eleven on every corner. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like we have an overabundance of everything. And there are, while it sucks, there are people who lost, maybe a business in this, but like it's a business that wasn't a necessity. And I think that focusing on like necessities going forward is going to be how we make things or how we succeed. And I don't think that sitting in an office 40 hours a week for fucking 30 years of your life should be the way going forward, and I hope that it's not the way going forward. Like I think that those things, if they're not changing right now, like they need to start changing quickly.
Right. I've seen some of the stuff where
living your life in a cubicle trying to get to retirement, just that and it doesn't hit you until we had all of this shit happen. Like we're literally like we're meant to fucking sit in cubicles, till we're 65 or 70 years old and fucking be happy to live out the last few years of our life not having to go to work every day. This shit's stupid.
Yeah, and I think there's even a quote from Fight Club about it, and I'm going to speak it incorrectly, so feel free to correct me. It's something to the effect of, we go to jobs that we don't like so that we can earn money to buy the things we never get to enjoy. And that's not ideal either.
To impress people we don't like.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, and it's, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like, was the quote. Because he was talking about, like, he was like, I finally got that, that last set of plates or that last blanket or whatever. I know whatever happens, I've got that blanket covered. Yeah. Like, that kind of, like, that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter at all.
To keeping up with the Joneses or whatever it is.
Yeah, fuck all that. Yeah, fuck all that.
But we have people that are in our close, I don't want to say close circle, but people that we regularly hang out with or associate with that view the amassing of physical items and property and wealth and stuff like that as the most rewarding thing in life, and what kind of ranks you against other people, and live on that, man, I got to take out a loan against my credit card to be able to pay some stuff until more cash comes in. And, that's the difference between having wealth and having perceived wealth.
Yeah.
If you have all the money and if you spend $30,000 and it's a drop in the bucket to you, you're not necessarily flexing to spend the $30,000. Whereas if I'm maxing out credit cards to spend $30,000, am I flexing, or is it a necessity?
Doing it to flex. Yeah. It's one of the two.
But
yeah, and I guess it, like, and I fully, like, I think I said it within the last couple of weeks, like, on the show, like, I I look back when I made all that money at Lockheed, and like I if I had it to do all over again, knowing everything I know now, like I would have handled it a lot differently. You know, and I don't regret necessarily how I handled it, but like I wish I would have known the things I know now then.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know the things you know now if you didn't learn them that way.
Change. Yeah, no, I hear you. So, like I said, that's why I say I don't really regret them necessarily. Like I had fun, I enjoyed it, but like I guess the crux of it all is that like the whole coronavirus thing. Like I'm not concerned with amassing wealth.
Right.
Like I just,
you can see,
I want to travel. I want to fucking work as little as possible.
That
preferably not for somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, ideally make your own fortune instead of somebody else a fortune.
Yeah.
But you can tell that coronavirus is taking a recession somewhere in other countries by the fact that we're getting the what is it, extended car warranty calls again and credit card reduction calls again.
Oh, God. Fuck my life.
Ashley got 3 of them today to reduce the interest rate on her credit card. And
God. Go finish your thing, because I have a public service announcement.
Oh, good.
As soon as you're
good.
done.
I thought you'd mentioned something about this too earlier, but so we're sitting in the living room and we're talking before recording the show, and her phone rings and she doesn't answer the phone for any number she doesn't recognize, and usually doesn't answer the phone at all. And so she hands me the phone. She's like, "Hey, do you want to answer this and fuck with them?" And I look at it and it's like 30 digits long and it starts with a V, which is not a phone number. So I was like,
I got one of those.
I was like, all right. So I put it on speakerphone and I swipe down on the iPhone screen and I hit the record button, thinking I can record the screen and the audio, which didn't work, by the way. There's a couple steps you have to go through. So I pick it up and it comes to the automated thing. "Hey, we're trying to reach you about saving money on your credit card. Blah, 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 blah. Press 1 to speak to a representative." So I hit 1 and I do my best impression, not that it's any good, but my best impression of Chef's dad from South Park. And the guy picks up the phone and he's clearly speaking with a strong accent, and it would appear that English is not his first language, which good for him for speaking more than one language. I don't. And so I respond with, "Hello there," and go through the whole spiel, and he starts explaining why he's calling, and he's like, "Do you have credit cards?" And I tell him yes. And he's like, "Oh, well, how many credit cards do you have?" And I was like, 1, and still maintaining the voice. And he's like, "Oh, well, do you know what kind of balance you have?" And I say, "No, I pay about $350 a month." Again, in the voice, I'm like, "Oh, probably about $350. And he's like, "What?" And I repeat myself, and he's like, well, what's your balance? And I said, "Well, you don't know that?" I was like, "Well, how much are you asking me to pay you?" And he's like, "Well, what's your balance?" And I was like, "Is this the Loch Ness Monster?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "This is that there Loch Ness Monster." And God. Ashley's doing the best she can to keep it together in the background because thinking the audio is recording. And then the guy hangs up on us. And the recording stops, and we're both cracking up, and we go back to listen to it, and it's just the screen recorded. It doesn't have any audio. So, but you know what? They're calling frequently enough. I'm going to try and start picking them up and recording the video and audio, which may or may not be legal depending on where you live, and potentially share the audio or video or both. So
I can probably lump it into the podcast and bleep out any names that would make it,
Pacifically about me.
Yeah. So my public service announcement about these fucking calls, I got 2 of them. The first one is my actual extended warranty that I bought on Jen's car is legitimately about to expire. So those people have been calling me like, "Hey, this is about to expire. Like, what do you want to do?" And I've told them 37 times that I don't want to do anything, that I never should have bought it in the first place, that it was a ripoff. But when I find out which one of you son of a bitches signed me up for fucking medical alert bracelet phone calls, I will find you and I will punch you right straight in your throat with a spoon.
That's fucking funny.
I get 2 fucking phone calls a day. Michael, we're trying to reach you to find out if you're ready to receive your medical alert bracelet. No, mother, bull, you sons of... I'm not even 40 yet. Somebody sign me up for some shit. Like, when I find out who you are, I'm gonna track you down and I'm gonna elbow you in the throat.
That's awesome.
I'm just letting you know now.
I never even thought to do that to somebody.
Man, shit blows my mind. Fucking, I'm just like, I got one of the calls and I'm like, I'm not even fucking 40. Like, how did I get signed up for this shit?
The most we've ever done to sign other people up. I mean, you can blow up their email address or whatever, but with phone numbers, I think I told you the story. A guy that I worked with got jammed up by his ex, like lost his job over it and everything. And she just kept harassing him and harassing him and harassing me and harassing him. I said, give me your phone number. And I made a couple Craigslist ads with her phone number. And one of them was that I was trying to sell a dirt cheap Honda, Si Habla Espanol. And because the area I posted in is heavily Hispanic, I figured she'd get a lot of phone calls or text messages from English buyers and Spanish speaking buyers. And then the other one was, beautiful woman seeking man, well endowed, blah, blah, blah. Show me what you're working with before contacting me.
Yeah.
And she was calling him screaming.
You allegedly did these things, correct?
Allegedly.
It's allegedly.
If I were going to do something like that, that's probably how I would think about doing it.
All right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that, you didn't actually do it, that it was allegedly that you had done this.
Absolutely. Allegedly.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm just making sure we were telling a story.
Yeah. Like writing a book, if I'd have done it.
Sort of. Yeah.
So what was your...
This is what I would have done.
You had a Baltimore story?
Oh, God. Fucking... When I find out who this was, too. So I think you guys remember a few episodes, probably 10 or so episodes ago, when my shit got hacked by Starbucks and somebody bought a drink with my Starbucks account in California. Well, some asshole bought fucking Chipotle for themselves at 11 o'clock Sunday night in Baltimore and fucking used my card and my fucking Chipotle account to do it. I had that shit delivered to their house and everything.
You have a Chipotle account? And wait, they have an address?
Well, yeah, oh yeah, I have the address. I don't know if that's their actual house or, just where they pulled up in front of, because it was only a mile from the Chipotle. I don't know why they didn't just do pickup.
You know what we need to do is if you have the physical address, we need to send the glitter bombs and the bags of dicks and the actual shit from the zoo.
I was actually thinking about sending them a sticker with the Chipotle receipt in it.
Oh, you should.
And seeing if they would listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Do it.
So I have, I saved the address. So
yeah,
I
think you should do it. You should write them a letter and say, hey, I understand you used my card to buy yourself Chipotle. I'm a little mad about it, but go ahead and check us out on social media. Here's a sticker, and we'll just call it even.
Yeah. Pretty much. I think that's what I might do.
Tell your friends.
So, but why I bring it up is Chipotle, and I love me some Chipotle. So I'm not trying to besmirch Chipotle here. But Chipotle, they don't have a phone. You can't call Chipotle outside. You can call your local store, but you can't call corporate Chipotle. They have a number for delivery support if you have an issue with your delivery, and it's not even Chipotle. It's a third-party company that handles Chipotle's delivery support for them.
That's weird.
And then submits a fucking, this happened Sunday, and I didn't get a call back about it from Chipotle until today.
You got to get them on social media. Be like, hey, I run a hugely successful podcast, and
if I didn't, if I didn't have something today, by the end of today, I was going to hit them on social media tomorrow. Because in the past, when I've had issues with Chipotle, they're super responsive. But I thought it was weird that, you can't just straight up call them. Because usually when I've had issues in the past, it's been I ordered one thing and fucking got something completely different. And, it wasn't a huge deal. I fucking, y'all got $28 of my money for some fucking bowls I didn't get to eat. There's a problem here. So... But I was surprised that you just can't just call Chipotle and talk to somebody about that shit. They only do outbound calls, and you fucking you got to submit a ticket and fucking you can't talk to nobody at Chipotle, which I think is cool and bullshit all at the same time.
Right, that's the kind of customer support you want to work for, not the kind of customer support you want to receive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I want to work in that call center, so I pick and choose who I call out to, and not have to deal with anybody that comes in at me.
See, but you have to make sure you take advantage of this opportunity for social media interaction when you interact with them publicly and you end up thanking them for handling the problem, you want to make sure you get some sort of response from them. Like if you can get them to tweet a response to the podcast, then obviously you get the Chipotle exposure. I mean, we got to try and work the crowd.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we're grasping at straws here, if you can't tell. So
we're developing an attack plan while we're doing it.
Yeah, I figured. Well, we are quite literally we are learning as we go with this shit. So, like, we didn't think about any of this shit beforehand. We just did it and hoped for the best. It's pretty much how I live my life anyway. Living
life in the fast lane. How's that song go? Isn't that a 2 Chainz song from Fast and the Furious?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm not entirely
Go ahead and cue the music and
I don't know
put it in later.
About.
Now that we have rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't think we have rights, buddy.
So we had previously talked about inside jokes and stuff like that. We talked about a milk allergy taking the place of another term so that you can use it and, not have everyone mad that you use the term. We're still looking for people's input on Amber Alert. The wife gave me her idea. She said that she thinks it should be like a stage 4 clinger or something like that.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to give us that, she randomly said something in a half intoxicated stupor this weekend that I could not let go of. I kept laughing. And we're talking about how dumb people were about certain things. It's probably coronavirus related or whatever. Or,
might be
current administration related or any of the countless dumb things that just endlessly cease to surprise you. And she somehow came up with, instead of the R word, which growing up in the 80s was super common to use for everything and was a medical terminology as well, and has grown to become not even supposed to be used medically. Instead of that term, she referred to someone as a left-handed dolphin.
Man, when you put that in the fucking chat today when we were talking about that other thing, I fucking died laughing because I've never heard it before, but I literally I'm going to start using left-handed dolphin. I equated left-handed dolphin to football bat, like saying somebody's fucked up like a football bat.
Same kind of thing.
So, yeah.
Uh-oh. I think I lost you. Are you there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I didn't go anywhere.
Okay, I think I just moved my phone to a no service area while we're talking. So yeah, you had said you equated it to like a football bat?
Yeah, like somebody's that's fucked up like a football bat. Like I've said that for years. I don't even remember I don't remember who I first heard that from, but I know I stole it from somebody else. But like I say that shit all the time, and people think it's funny. But like when you said left-handed dolphin, I was like, "Fuck, man, that really rings true for what we're specifically what we're talking about." But I could find a million other scenarios where calling somebody a fucking left-handed dolphin would fit.
Right, and I mean, not to justify the use of the R word at those times, but that was essentially what the R word was used as when we were kids. When you called someone that inappropriate term, it was saying
it was
like being a football bat.
You're stupid.
So but so left-handed dolphin
it was not a term of endearment, that's for sure.
No. but so left-handed dolphin is another inside joke for the Nothing in Moderation crew and fans.
I like it.
So we've got milk allergy, left-handed dolphin, and we'll eventually have Amber Alert.
Well, we got to work on Amber Alert.
Yep, we're leaving that up to the fans.
I could totally skip that one in lieu of left-handed dolphin.
Por qué no los dos?
Sorry, White Claw's making me burp a little bit.
Uh-oh. I heard
that's my bad.
I heard it's a lawless time over there.
Yeah. Well, there's never really any laws over here. Even more so when I'm on the claws.
There you go. So, we'll have to get the clip of the wife yelling "No laws" and rip it open the can.
Yeah. I have to. You have to send that to me so I can work it in. We could just start that as like the opening deal.
The opening deal.
So, Yeah, the opening deal. The intro. That's what the word I'm looking for. Fuck.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like that sometimes. I know I just a quick little studio update with the remodel. It's going along. They're moving right along. However, my AC is having trouble keeping up because the entire back half of the house, the walls and shit are open. So it's just fucking like it's 100 degrees on the whole back side of the house where the studio is, and fucking just forces my AC to run constantly all day. I can't wait till this shit's done. Between the hammering and the fucking the AC that can't keep up, the shit's wild over here.
Man, affluent life problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting a multi-million-dollar studio remodeled, now it's going to be $1 billion studio, and you're complaining about some hammering sounds and a little bit of AC running.
You're absolutely correct. I am complaining about it. So
I realized that we're getting old because the AC is set to 81 now.
What?
The house is here's the affluent problems. The house is too big, and the area where the AC is the oldest portion of the house. So it is the hardest to heat and cool. It's the best insulated because our house has been added onto like 4 or 5 times over the course of the 60 years it's been here. So the AC, once it gets warm in that area, kicks on. We set it to like 79, which we normally run the house at like 74. But because it's so fucking hot out, the AC can't get that end of the house cooled off, and it'll still say 79 or 80, and the other end of the house will be like 72, and it just runs all day and it can't keep up. So we have to bump it to like 81.
Yeah, that's basically what ours does. It's set at like 76, and it just runs between 78 and 80 fucking all day. And then by the afternoon, it fucking, like the wife and I are crammed into the spare bedroom right now, just with, with everything going on. Both of us working from home and fucking them remodeling. And like, so we're both fucking hanging out in the spare bedroom, and it's just the two of us and the dogs, and fucking, it's so hot in here by the end of the day.
All the walking heaters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hi, Jen.
So lazy ass dogs laying heaters. So I actually need to, before we jump into Trash or Treasure, tomorrow or today, since you guys are listening to this probably today, is my wife's birthday. So I got to send a special happy birthday to my beautiful wife. I love you. That's it. That's all I got.
Happy birthday, Jen. I also want to point out to you, Mike, that I want to point out to you that regardless of when somebody listens to the podcast, they are in fact listening to it today.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they are, just in case. If you're listening to this on Thursday, the day it released.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Then it's happy birthday. If you're not, it's still happy birthday. You wish her a happy fucking birthday.
Super fans unite.
Yep. So you ready to stump me with your Trash or Treasure?
I can try. I think it's a little tough, but once you figure it out, I think I already know your answer. So
okay.
So here we go.
Well, that's pleasant.
This week's edition of Treasure. All right, so today is my job to quiz Mike on an item or person or thing or noun and see if it is in fact trash or treasure, in case you haven't heard the bit before. So this person was born May 23rd, 1946, in Georgia. They later changed their name in 1967 and have lived in a couple spots in Georgia. They have been to every state in the contiguous 48. They visited Canada, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. This person is Southern Baptist. And
Joel Osteen.
It is not Joel Osteen, but you're headed kind of in the rightish direction.
All right.
This person has spent their entire professional life working in the food industry. So that's going to probably make it a little tough for you.
Okay.
This person is extremely popular in the Southeast. In and about Atlanta primarily is where they currently reside. In one of the suburbs.
Is it Alton Brown?
It is not.
Damn.
We're going in the right direction with things. We're keeping it food oriented.
How are we going to? I guess Joel Osteen and Alton Brown. There could not be more polar opposites.
Well, I mean, you've got food and you've got religion built into it. So both of those are important to remember.
All right.
Okay?
Okay. All right.
Anytime people come in contact with this person, they have a... I don't think I've heard of anybody having a negative experience as far as actual experience with this person or with any of the crew they have with them. In fact, they're typically regarded as very nice. This person is not a fan of cows. So it may be Devin Nunes, but it's not. One of the most important things is honor, dignity, and respect, or so they say, regardless of belief, race, creed, or sexual orientation or gender. You'll never catch this person working on a Sunday.
Nothing yet.
I wonder if anybody's got this. So I guess at this point it's pretty clear to point out it's not a person. It is a thing, since you did 2020 last time.
Oh, okay. So you're doing Chick-fil-A.
I am doing Chick-fil-A. So just a little bit more information. Chick-fil-A started as the Dwarf Grill and was later renamed the Dwarf House. There's a couple still Dwarf House locations open, which is kind of interesting. 13 of them as of 2012 in the metro Atlanta area. The entry to the buildings actually have a normal size door, and then they have a little door for the dwarves. Obviously, they mean mythical dwarfs, not people of short stature. One of the biggest things that comes out in the negative way about Chick-fil-A is the CEO has made several public statements about same-sex marriage, saying those who have the audacity to define what marriage is about were inviting God's judgment to our nation. There has also been large donations to gay conversion camps and stuff of the sorts. There's been reports, and I can't verify these, about the statements being made about not supporting the employment of different ethnicities or creeds, that it's very specifically the white people that are supposed to work there. And this kind of ties back into the boycotting, because I can remember that we talked about early in the show. I can remember when it first came out that Chick-fil-A was making donations to like gay conversion camps and stuff like that. And I remember when hey, we need to boycott them. That's shitty, this and that. And I remember very specifically at the first time I heard about it, I was like, oh, well, I mean, boycotting's easy for me. I've never eaten there anyway.
Yeah.
And, we had a person that we were friends with for quite a while, like very close friends with, that checked a lot of the boxes that the controversy was about. She belonged to the LGBTQ community. She was an ethnicity that was not white. And I only bring that up because they were specifically slighting both of those groups. Mm-hmm. And I remember her making the comment. She's like, listen, I know I should say fuck them. She's like, but the food's good. It's hard to not want to eat there if we're going to stop and get food somewhere. She's like, it's all shit either way. And it's just something that kind of comes up with the GOYA protests or boycotts or whatever you want to call it now, because I have, some of my Spanish friends have reached out to me and they're like, listen, man, he's like, even if GOYA said, we know that we make all our money off of and use racial slurs, our parents aren't going to not buy that shit. That's what they grew up on. That's what they want. They don't give a fuck. So yeah, that's that whole, the people that boycott are not usually even the customer base anyway. But
usually most of the people that scream that they're going to boycott something weren't buying it in the first place.
Right. So one of the really interesting things,
it's easy for them.
One of the things I didn't know. So with a company being as old as it is, the business model's changed a little bit. They used to have like a much larger menu for dine-in when it was the Dwarf House or Dwarf Grill. And I think that's kind of neat. But they were also open from 6 a.m. Monday until 10 p.m. Sunday originally. Or I'm sorry, 10 p.m. Saturday. So they were only closed from 10 p.m. Saturday to 6 a.m. Monday originally.
Shut that goddamn cat up. So I, for the most part, like, I am not in the group that necessarily boycotts things because I don't agree with them. I will, however, say the caveat to that is, like I was speaking about earlier, and I think this is where I was trying to go earlier and couldn't quite get there. As I've gotten older, I research where I spend my money a little bit more than I think your average person does. Because I want to make sure that they're giving the money that I eventually give them. I want to make sure that it's going back into my community, and when it comes to national chains, that because there's no getting away from dealing with certain national chains. I want to make sure that money that is going to somebody that is going to put it where I think it should eventually go.
Right, to support small
extent.
business concepts.
But like I never stopped. I haven't eaten Chick-fil-A in fucking forever. Mostly because they don't have a lot of shit I can eat now.
Right.
And I've never thought their grilled chicken was good, and with not eating fried foods, I think we've gotten fries from there a time or two. I think overall they're a trash company, but I think that's mostly because of their executive team. I think at the store level things are probably a little different. I think they're all pretty much franchised. I don't know that there's a lot of company stores. Like company, I think most of them are franchises. So they're, those franchises are employing people in your community. So it's like it's a give take thing.
Right.
So, but I think overall they're a trash ass company. So mostly because they've got shitty views on the world, and I just, I don't know.
It's a tough call to make because the opinion of the CEO doesn't necessarily reflect the opinion of the people you interact with. And that's the case with everything. If the chief of police is a piece of shit, that doesn't mean that everyone under him is a piece of shit. But then you have the moral conversation about if you disagree, why do you work there? And the answer is because I need to make money to survive. And it ends up being a real big, are you on a moral high horse or what's your point? And, I would say from a food perspective, I enjoy Chick-fil-A. I mean, it's a pricey option as far as fast food goes. Speaking of which, today, not the day the show is released, but the day the show is being recorded is National French Fry Day.
Like Monday or Tuesday, maybe it was Sunday, I don't remember, but earlier this week was fucking National Macaroni and Cheese Day, and I didn't find out about it until the fucking day after.
Yep. So
bullshit.
And
there should be a calendar for these things,
right? So we can talk about them,
stored in your phone. Yeah.
But on one of our earliest episodes, we talked about best fast food French fries. But it's I would say Chick-fil-A is probably a trash company because of the donations to anti-gay groups. I think generally speaking, any group that's anti-human being is kind of shitty, unless it's like anti-terrorism or anti-people who kill people. But
anti-fascist?
Well, I wasn't trying to dip there because that whole thing is a fucking mess as a whole. But
yeah, it's a shit show for real.
As far as companies go to boycott, and I'm not saying go into Nike and punch some kid in the face who's just working there in high school, or go into Apple and try to grapple with somebody, but there's a lot of information coming out now, and we've known about this for months, but now there's like drone footage of this actually happening in China in the northwest portion. They're rounding up, the ethnic minority people, and I'll mispronounce. I think it's Uyghur, but I probably
I don't remember how to say it. I listened to one of the I started listening to just recently. I started listening to an international news podcast the BBC puts out.
Good.
And they had a really good. I'll send you the link because they had a really good interview with somebody that's like in China, like one of their media person there.
I mean, you should share it on the.
It had a lot
socials.
of inside information.
Well, I just saw on Reddit today.
I don't know that all of our fans care about that.
Well, I mean, if they want to, they can. That's where they can find it. But I just saw when I was reading Reddit before the show, drone footage of these people being a train pulling up and all these people being loaded out of the train, and they're all wearing similar uniforms and all their heads are shaved and they're all handcuffed, and it's this massive group of people, and in the countries detaining these people and putting them in concentration camps. Allegedly, all these people had their head shaved, and all of a sudden there was a huge shipment of natural human hair wigs, which could have potentially come from that. But they're being forced into slave labor. And I brought this up when we were playing the other night on Red Dead. It's not just sweatshop labor, because that was the response I got was, oh, well, you know, they've been doing that for years, paying kids pennies and this and that. This is legitimately starving people in concentration camps, harvesting their organs, and rounding them up because of their ethnicity or minority status. And most people, I think, understand that that's the kind of stuff that was done in the 30s and 40s in Germany. That's a legitimate concentration camp. That's slave labor. That's an atrocious thing for any human to be doing to another human. And there's companies that, you know, sure as shit, they know that's where their labor is coming from and why they're getting such low cost items.
Yeah.
And they're making a fortune off of selling something that literally costs pennies to the American consumer. And the American consumer either A, doesn't know, or B, straight doesn't give a fuck. Whether it be a low price or it's the trendy thing I want. But I can
and it's a solid combination of the two.
Yeah.
Of not knowing, not researching enough to figure it out, but also knowing and not giving a fuck, or, you know, just not giving a fuck once you're told or find out or whatever.
But I can tell you, when I was over there and I talked to the people that I got to and the tour guides and stuff like that, and they were talking about how inexpensive it is to produce things in China because materials are cheap and the manufacturer is so huge. So when you expand manufacturing, the individual cost comes down. They were talking about a lighter. So, like, you know, the throwaway lighters you pay $2 or $3 for at the gas station would cost less than a penny to manufacture the complete thing in China. So they're manufacturing it for less than a penny, selling it to the United States for, who fucking knows, 50 cents a piece. We pay all the travel costs, and then we sell them for, you know, through multiple hands, and they eventually go for $2 or $3 a piece. But if it was going to cost you $5 for a lighter made in the United States with American materials and American labor and stuff like that, people are going to be like, fuck that, give me the $3 one. I can almost get two of them.
Yeah.
And they're missing out on the whole concept of how it came to be, in, you know, the blood diamond concept.
Yeah. So one of the, just for lighter talk, when I smoked, I would buy lighters from a company called D-Jeep, and it's DJEEP. And they're not Chinese made lighters, like they're made in Paris, but they're like the $5 lighter or whatever. But I would pay more for that lighter just because it wasn't made in China, and like they were, you know, their design was cool. Like they were a little bit fatter, and, you know, they were easier to hold in your hand or whatever. They were like a Zippo, but not for white trash.
Right.
So, but I, you know, I didn't, even then, like I didn't think, you know, about that kind of stuff, but like it, you know, makes sense. So
yeah, it's all consumer based, man. And
yeah,
you know,
every bit of it.
I saw something that said, you know, there's the push to get back to normal, get back to normal, get back to normal. We have to get back to this. And, you know, I saw a little bit more thought out post where it said we shouldn't be looking to get back to normal because normal was never normal to begin with. It was greed driven. It was this driven. It was that. We should be looking to go to something better than what we were. We had the option to have some sort of reset to realize what's valuable, to realize what our time is worth, to realize how much other people are worth. You know, I'm sure most people with kids realize how much teachers take on now that they've had to teach their kids. You know, so it's the opportunity to make improvements rather than say, fuck it, let's go back to the way we do it because that's the way we always did it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was one of the big takeaways for me is the, you know, like I don't, normal didn't work for everybody. Normal kept you trapped in the, you know, the day-to-day sit in a cubicle until you retire, you know, mentality. Like a lot of this shit showed you, like you said, that, you know, this isn't what it was ever meant to be. like in, being able to adapt and make changes, but also at this for yourself, but also to be able to look at other, like I look more closely at like the local restaurants and shit. Like I try to, I'm not going to the Chili's in town or the fucking, the other big chains in town. Like I'm hitting the local places more than I used to. Right. I'm checking with all the local shops more than I used to now to see if they have what I need, and I'm okay paying a little bit more for it because I know that money's staying in my community.
Yeah.
And I don't think before all of this, I recognized how important that was.
Since Ashley and I have been together, I've elevated my dining habits, and not just gone to fancier places or whatever, but we, generally speaking, try to find mom and pop owned restaurants wherever we go. If we're out of town or we're on vacation or whatever it is, we'd much rather, we're in Podunk, wherever, let's try this little hole in the wall place instead of, there's a Chili's down the road, just like you had mentioned earlier. And,
Yeah.
Obviously we can't single-handedly support a restaurant no matter how much we like it. But that was one of the things that disappointed us is there was a Turkish restaurant called Turkish Restaurant up the street from us, and they ended up closing, and we kind of saw the writing on the walls because we would go there and there'd be like 2 tables, including us. I mean, we always missed lunch or dinner rush anyway, but they never seemed busy enough. And then when they closed, we were really disappointed because the food was phenomenal and the staff was great. And we have the same worries with everything that's going on about, our favorite German place that I like to go to for my birthday, or, the Jamaican place that's not too far from us that's fucking phenomenal and has all of like 6 tables inside anyway. And we worry about the small business having to shut down, but we also understand that there may be losses from business that are necessary because you stand to have a much larger loss long term if you don't make small sacrifices now. And it's tough to say that to somebody that's losing their livelihood, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we sure hope that.
Well, and I think that's where I was. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we obviously hope that nobody's losing any more than is necessary. But like we said, it's ideally we can, as a whole, take a positive lesson from it and consume less and redirect our funds and realize that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the latest, greatest of everything every time it comes out. But if that's your motivation, then so be it,
Yeah, absolutely.
And show me your butthole on OnlyFans.
All right, don't do that. I swear to God, if we get butthole pictures in the DMs of the social media stuff, I'm blaming you.
That's fine.
And I'm going to bleach your eyeballs.
That's cool. I mean, you're the one who saw it.
So, yeah. Well, I'm gonna make sure that fucking you see it too, you son of a bitch.
I bet Chris will do that. I bet he'll send us a butthole photo.
Probably. Is he the butthole surfer?
Oh.
Do they have more than one song?
They have more than one song, but their big song was Pepper.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I knew they were one-hit wonders.
Anyway, anything else, buddy? Since we got all serious and then we didn't.
I got we bounced all around. The only thing I got is make sure you guys send us a DM if you are looking to get a sticker, so we can get that out to you. The only thing we ask in return is that you send us a picture of where you place that sticker so that when we stop sucking at social media, we can get those put up there for everybody to see, which might be this week.
I hope so.
But yeah, so yeah, definitely just, shoot us a DM or a message or an email or whatever. All the links to all of our contact is in the show notes. And you can get to us there, and we'll get you out a free sticker.
Did you get all the?
Other than that, I don't got nothing else.
Did you get all the stickers out that we were supposed to get out, like to Josh?
I did not do Josh's yet. I did not do your sister's yet either. I figured I'd do both of those this week with my Chipotle sticker.
Good deal. So. God, I can't wait to hear about the Chipotle story next week.
Yeah, it's going down. I will be back with a story about it next week, and hopefully the week after that, I'll be back with like a reply of some sort. Maybe they'll DM us.
Nice.
So.
All right,
buddy. Well, fucking, let's get out of here. I will catch you. I'll catch you on the flip side.
I'll see you in Valentine rustling cattle.
Hell yeah! All right, buddy. See you later.
Bye.
Everybody, stay safe out there. We love you. Stop it.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey, kids, you've reached the end of the podcast. That's it. There's nothing more here. Just dead air in this closing statement. We appreciate your diligence, though. Now go back about your day and come back for the next show. Or listen again. In fact, that sounds like a better plan. Grab another show. That's what I'm doing right now. Whoever listens the most wins. You don't really win anything, really. Just the memories of better times, which is winning in my book. All right, well, this is the actual end. Hand banana.